Morning. Now let's take a look at matters environment. The National Environment and Management Authority NEMA plans to ban the use and manufacture of plastic bottles in 3 months' time. The ban will be effected if manufacturers of plastic bottles will not have come up with a plan on how to recycle the bottles. Now, data from the Ministry of Environment shows that approximately 50 million bottles, plastic bottles, are used annually countrywide, and there's a problem on how to dump them. Hence, this directive by NEMA. To discuss this matter with us this morning, we do have Irene Kamunge, Director Legal Services at NEMA. Irene, karibu sana, good morning.
Morning to you.
Of course, this is just a few months after the ban on plastic carrier bags. Even before we get to the bottles, where are we with that? Because even yesterday, while this announcement was being made, there was an indication that yes, there are people who are still defying the ban on plastic carrier bags, and you named Gikomba Market, City Market, and I think another market where they're still using the plastic carrier bags. What's the problem with that?
Thank you, Fred. I want to begin by thanking the Kenyans for the support that they've given us with regard to the ban on plastic carrier bags and plastic flatbeds. Largely, there's been a lot of compliance. People have lauded this. And this has not just been a national issue, it has also been an international issue. So I really want to thank the Kenyan public for really coming out to support us. But however, what we're saying is, is that we are having quite a bit of challenges in a few areas. And the most challenging areas right now are the markets. We have City Market, we have Gara Market, we have Gikomba Market, we have Lolongo Market, quite a number of them, where these plastic flatbeds are still being in use. And we've also been visiting these markets, and in certain instances we have been faced with some resistance from these people, and they're saying that they don't want to migrate like every Kenyan has done. And therefore, as an institution, we are saying that enough is enough. We're not going to allow those markets again to continue doing what they're doing. And what we're saying is that now we have teamed up with the police, and we will be visiting those markets together with the county governments as carries.
Are you saying now you're teaming up with the police now? Does it mean that previously the police had not been roped in as far as enforcement of that ban is concerned?
They were, but what we began by saying is that we said, let's start by complying. Let's not force people, let's not arrest them. Okay. And then the second phase for the institution was to use NEMA inspectors and basically say, let's still have a negotiated compliance and make sure that people comply. And then we moved to a phase where we were saying we are arresting people, but the police kept on coming with us and basically be at the background and having a few of them join us, especially in our inspection activities. And since yesterday, what we said as an institution is that we have now agreed with the police officers that from henceforth we are going to enforce this ban with them, and therefore we will be having situations where we know that, for example, that a lot of these plastic carry bags are coming from outside the country, from the neighboring countries, and therefore we are going to be having roadblocks, for example, to basically search these vehicles which are bringing into this country.
So now basically you mean we'll start seeing people getting arrested?
I must say that we have had 165 arrests so far. 4 of them have been manufacturers, 40 have been distributors, and 165 people.
But normal users?
The rest out of the 140 have been distributors, 4 have been manufacturers, and the rest have been the users of these plastic.
Let's talk about the plastic bottles now. We're talking about water bottles, soda bottles, juice bottles. Is it practical to say that you're going to ban all plastic bottles, or what is the intention here?
I just want to correct what came out yesterday, that NEMA is going to ban plastic bottles. The issue here is that we say that we are working with these sectors, with the manufacturers and the users of plastic bottles. And what we are looking for is a self-regulatory mechanism where we have a take-back system A take-back system, meaning that, in countries, for example, like India, you have places where people just go drop their bottles and get paid maybe 1 rupee. And that's the kind of mechanism we are looking into with the manufacturers.
So the main intention is to encourage recycling and proper disposal of plastic bottles, but not necessarily to ban the use of plastic bottles.
Yes. It's not our intention to ban the plastic bottles. Our intention is to ensure that we encourage recycling as much as possible, and if possible, eventually hope that we can have other alternatives being used, unlike plastic bottles.
So what would be the requirement that people who sell sodas, for example, people who sell water, what would be the requirement from NEMA?
We haven't really come up with the regulatory mechanism. We are still working with this, the bottles, people, the users, the water. And but the way we envisage it is that we see a situation where people can be able to probably drop their bottles in a particular place, earn a little money. I mean, this is just a proposal. It's not something that has really been agreed upon. And then encourage. So the issue is to really encourage the users of these bottles, who are you and I, basically, to be able to return. I mean, it's going to create jobs even for the street families, for example, so that when you collect a bottle, take it somewhere, earn a little money, and it becomes a self-regulatory mechanism.
Thank you for that clarification, because as it came out yesterday, is that plastic bottles will be banned in the next 3 months' time. But it's just an encouragement to manufacturers and even the users, because if fine, manufacturers may come up with a system of recycling and disposing of plastic bottles, but what about the users? I'll still buy my water in a bottle or my soda in a bottle, and will I also be required to dispose of in a certain way? Yes.
You realize if you drive along our highways, the plastic carry bags and flat bags have gone. But now what is there is the bottles. So we have a culture as a country where people basically take their bottles, take whatever they're taking, and then just throw away their bottles.
Out of the car.
Now, what we're doing is that we are working with the county governments, the matatu industry, the transport industry, to ensure that we have places where bins are kept. And also these vehicles also have bins where they can basically be able to, for people to basically dump their waste there. So it's really a culture change. I know it's a culture shock for the country, where people suddenly do not have plastic carry bags. It's also going to be a culture shock. But again, also, it's really in the right direction. Behavior change doesn't just happen today or tomorrow. It's a system we are working through, and therefore we need also to assist the user by ensuring that we have the appropriate places for disposal, and that the institution is doing.
As we wrap up, thank you for that clarification, but as we wrap up this interview, we cannot let you go without a slight clarification on what happens in the entertainment scene here in Nairobi. It is Friday, and NEMA over the past few weeks has been busy shutting down entertainment spots, especially in uptown Nairobi, that have been said to defy compliance as far as noise levels are concerned. You're not getting a lot of support probably with revelers, but I'm sure you're getting support from some other residents of Nairobi. How far are we with that? Are some of the clubs that have been shut down, are they open? Are they set to be reopened? Are they complying with your requirements as well?
Thank you, Fred. The issue of noise pollution has been a problem and a headache for us as a Kenyan society and for the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA. You also realize that we have devolved, the Constitution devolved the function of noise pollution, and this has largely been dealt with by the county governments. But however, as an institution, we have the overall responsibility of coordinating and supervising and ensuring that there is no noise. Now, we receive quite a lot of complaints from the Kenyan people, and they are wondering what happened to noise pollution. Why aren't you able to contain as an institution? And it's basically the effects that noise basically, you're unable to sleep, your ears are sick after many years, and many other things. So what we're saying is that as an institution, we want people to comply, proprietors of this business institutions to comply, ensure that they contain their noise within their premises. So in other words, what you're saying, that they need to soundproof their premises.
Yes.
So that they just have noise to themselves and not to us. So I know we've shut down, and we are not just shutting down alone. We're shutting down with the county governments who have really been supporting us with this, because this is really their function. And as an institution, we can only reopen together with the county government after these people have complied and ensured that they've made their premises soundproof, so that whoever visits them just gets to
enjoy the noise.
Their noise, within the club.
And in as far as compliance, are the clubs complying? The ones that were shut down?
They are in the process of complying. Many of them have been working with us, and they are saying that please come, check now what you're doing, and we're checking and inspecting to ensure that before we open those clubs, they actually are compliant. So we are.
So what are the timelines we're looking at? When should we expect these clubs to be open, so that on a Friday like this, people can go out and enjoy?
As soon as they comply and we're satisfied, then we have
no reason.
It's up to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Irene Kamunge, Director Legal Services, NEMA. And she says, yes, the clubs are complying, so no need to worry. Probably in a Friday or two, they will be back in operation again. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Well, Power Breakfast still continues. That's the end of our news review this morning. We do have some musical treats as well. DJ Roy T-Boy is in the house, but before that, a couple of artists as well. Vinny Hash is in studio. You will get to enjoy that as well. But for me, my name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.